Hello once again, YouTube. Fair warning, this video will probably be taped a week or so in advance. But also at the same time, when I finally do get around to posting this video, which will probably be either a week later, maybe a week and a half, really kind of depends on how lazy I am. Or, how impatient I decide to get. But so far so good. All this, the videos that Monster created have actually, they've done fairly well. They've done very, very well. And seems like I'm starting to actually get a few more views and stuff now, and people have kind of laid off of me. So that's definitely a good thing. However, I'm sure that there's a lot of people only doing it because, it's like, I can't believe Monster says we should give this guy a try. Well, you know what? Whatever. I got stuff to do, but you know what? On the flip side, those who actually watch my channel and actually appreciate what I do, yeah, I'm talking to you haters. But to those of you that actually watch my channel, I've actually got a very special... I'm going to do one DC character and one Marvel character. My DC character, however, I'm not too sure if I'll do Green Arrow. I might do Green Arrow if you guys request it enough. So far I've got a few requests to actually talk about Green Arrow, which is fine. And even the Monster kind of wants to see me talk about Green Arrow, in my usual sense of the word. But today, on Lesser Known But Awesome Heroes, I'm going to talk about one of my absolute favorite DC characters. And he's kind of in the mid-card, kind of, like, people know who he is, but there are still some people that are kind of like, he's kind of a throwaway character, or at least that's the way that it's been interpreted. And it seems to me that a lot of people only recognize him from the Justice League comics, but I really think that he should be pushed to get his own solo series, because I find him to be a very interesting character. Not to mention he's a very powerful character, a lot more powerful than I think people realize. I, of course, am talking about pretty much DC's version of Vision, as I call him, Red Tornado. Now, a little bit of a backstory. See, I like this. This is what he actually looks like in Batman Brave and the Bold. I find that to be cool, and this one here at the bottom is from Justice League Unlimited. I couldn't find one on Young Justice. I don't know what this picture of him is for, but I kind of like it. To me, it's got a film noir kind of quality, and just like a regular stable comic. Now this one I really love. This is like him using his powers. But to give a basic idea, the character technically debuted in Adam Strange's comics, simply because... Okay, there we go. Sorry, I had to adjust the camera. I'm sure none of you want to see if I got boogers hanging out of my nose. I tend to shove the camera too close to my face sometimes. But I'm getting off topic. In the Adam Strange comics, there were two characters that Strange had encountered: the Tornado Champion and the Tornado Tyrant. The Tornado Tyrant was very evil. He used his tornado powers to wreak havoc and destruction, and he wanted people to obey him, whereas the Tornado Champion was the thing that opposed him. And they were kind of like these elemental demigod kind of figures. And so what ended up happening is that they both couldn't coexist. Well, then eventually they started dissipating or something like that. Basically they started, either they came to terms with each other, or they wanted to live cohesively, but that, they always repelled each other. So this robotic body, which is, of course, the Red Tornado that we know in DC Comics, combined the Tornado Champion and the Tornado Tyrant in one self-contained alloyic body. Or rather, they both coexisted with each other, and when They had crash landed on Earth, the machinery got damaged, so it had amnesia. It didn't know that it was the Tornado, Champion, and Tyrant mixed together. Well, T.O. Marrow, who's created villains like Chemo and helped the Brain get his body and all this stuff. Well, actually, I don't know if he gave the Brain his body, but I'm just saying, he's a very prominent robotics villain in the DC universe. And he reprogrammed the Red Tornado to think that it was a member of the Justice Society, who was kind of like, you know, that Justice League on Earth 1. And they were confused, but they accepted him. And then when Red Tornado actually found out that Marrow had programmed him to be like a spy among them, he actually turned against Marrow, and he was actually fully accepted as a Justice League member. And then, of course, you know, skip to a couple of storylines, and pointless years later, you know, he's pretty much been a prominent member of the Justice League. And he always kind of felt like an outsider. He wanted to fit in with humanity, but being an android, a robot, he never really felt that he fit in. Like, he was one of those kind of self-aware androids that knew right from wrong. And he wanted to fit in, and in one prominent Justice League story that I think was produced in '07, he finally got his chance, but it was quickly crushed by Solomon Grundy, who basically broke every bone in his human body and nearly killed him. And he unfortunately had to be put back in his robotic body, and it kind of scarred him a little bit, but at the same time, he's like, you know, I now understand what it means to be human. And he mainly wanted to be human because he wanted to know what it was like, you know, to kiss a woman, to touch something. Almost kind of similar to Metallo, which the monster had explained. You know, he was a robot. He didn't understand, you know, the concepts of such things. The only difference between John Corbin and Red Tornado is that Red Tornado was fully an android. He was a full robot. John Corbin was basically just like a human brain put in a robotic body or something like that. Huge difference, but still. Red Tornado, for the most part, he has kind of been, I don't know, to me it's just there's something interesting about his character because he's an android who is trying to fit in with human society and be human in a sense. And I love that. I like that concept. Because it's very rare that you take an inorganic character like Red Tornado and you want to try to make them organic. You want to try to make them relatable. And he's been a prominent, like I said numerous times now in this video, he's been a prominent member of the Justice League, and he's been featured in Justice League Unlimited. He's one of the supporting characters in that new Young Justice show. He's been in Batman Brave and the Bold. You know, he's been in quite a few cartoons and stuff. You know, he's actually got a little bit of a fame going for him. I kind of want to see him get pushed a little bit more. But I think the big thing about Red Tornado that I really love, just overall, is that, you know, basically his body contains like F5 tornado-like winds. And F5, to give you guys a little bit of a biology or demographic deal, an F5 tornado spins speeds of 115 miles per hour. Oh, sorry, camera. Not camera, but my laptop went a little bit haywire there. An F5 tornado has 315 mile per hour winds. That's kind of a little bit of a blooper that I'll leave in there for you guys, by the way. My laptop kind of going into sleep mode or hibernate. But anyway, Red Tornado, his F5 winds that he exerts from his body, they spin up to 365 miles an hour, meaning that his winds are so powerful that they could literally destroy, if not disintegrate, everything in a building. Meaning that he could literally take out the first, I would say, 10 or 12 floors of the Empire State Building. I'm sure I'm probably exaggerating that, but yeah, that's powerful. That is very powerful indeed.